سخنران بعدی ما آقای نیما پور یعقوب، فعال حقوق بشر. موضوع سخنرانی ایشان تأثیر مجازات اعدام بر کودکان است. بفرمایید.
Death penalty has devastating influences on the individuals and the society. The influences of this inhumane punishment need a lot of time and energy to be ridden, and it's sometimes even impossible to solve the problems caused by the capital punishment. The influences of a parental execution on the children is one of the aspects which has not been widely discussed in Iran. Executing the parents at the first place violates some fundamental rights of the children, such as prohibition of violence against the children, and especially psychological violence, the right to enjoy life with appropriate conditions, the right to enjoy physical, psychological, moral, and social growth, and the right to have its interests protected. Although parental execution jeopardizes the child's future, Iranian judiciary pays no attention to this issue, and regardless of the family conditions of the inmates continues to execute the prisoners. Generally, the children's life and their relations to the other children changes, and their physical and psychological health is at stake when their parents are imprisoned. How every individual child reacts to it remains to be dependent on his or her individual character, surrounding conditions, other family members' reactions, and other aspects such as the media attention to the case. Most of these children show clear symptoms of a trauma and get no support from the judiciary. They face a sudden change in their lives, which was forced to them by a deliberate act of state. They have to first face the threat of losing one of their parents, and after a while, their violent murder by the state. The Iranian judiciary, which rarely thinks of the victims of daily crimes across the country, doesn't even see these children as victims. In their view, these are the children of some criminals and will be treated based on their parents' actions. Studies in other countries show that these children usually suffer from embarrassment about themselves or the others, lying to themselves or the others about what had happened, about the situation, inability to explain the situation to themselves or to the others, anger, loss of appetite, loss of interest in playing or going to school, loss of concentration or sleep, and dreams and nightmares, specifically about the executed person, or bedwettings. On the other hand, they are forced into a challenging relationship with the state. The death penalty, by its own definition, is a deliberate murder of a prisoner by the state, and is totally different from any other kind of losing a parent for the children. Therefore, these children rapidly get into a violent relationship with the state, especially those who issued and carried out the death sentence. From this point of view, the state reproduces criminality in the country, and with executing the parents, forces the children to challenge the laws and take revenge of the state. In the society, these children are mostly identified by their parents, which pushes them to more isolation. While the Islamic Republic of Iran continues to issue and carry out a huge number of executions, which leaves many children orphan every year, there is no financial or psychological support for these children, and they are not seen as people in need of support. In some cases, one parent gets executed because of killing the other one, which imposes a tragedy beyond the child's capacity on him or her and leaves him or her totally orphan. If none of the close relatives supports the child, he has to live on his own, sleep on the streets, leave the school to make money and work. a process which could end up in committing smaller or bigger crimes by the child itself and lead him to prison or even to his own death sentence. By knowing how their parents suffer after being sentenced to death, the children suffer along too. When the executions are being carried out in public, like the latest one, which was carried out yesterday in a football stadium in Neyri city, not only the execution destroys the witnesses psychologically, but it also ignores the dignity of the inmate's family and specifically his children, and pushes the children into a situation that they need to explain the happening to everybody. When the execution is carried out secretly, the children don't have the chance to say goodbye to his parents for the last time. In the cases that the graves are not made known by the state, the process of grieving never ends for a child. Having this said, we can guess that thousands of executions carried out in Iran in all these years have devastated the lives and souls of generations and left them with many problems. When political prisoners are executed, the child is left with a huge number of questions without answers about the possible reasons of killing an innocent person and has to become grown in his or her childhood. Their relationship with the government gets destroyed from the very moment of their parents' imprisonment or execution and can never be healed again. These children are in most of the cases still not aware of the location of their parents' graves, and any effort by them to find the graves faces the strong repression of the Iranian authorities. During the summer of 1988, the Islamic Republic of Iran not only committed a crime against humanity by executing more than 30,000 political prisoners, but also left a generation of traumatized children behind who are yet not allowed to know any details of their parents' executions. This is also one of the reasons that indicate, before exposing the whole details of the massacre, talking about forgiving the perpetrators is meaningless and even ridiculous. What was told now was just a summary of all possible influences of the parental executions on the children. Unfortunately, because of the strong censor inside Iran, there is no number of such children or their fates available. However, to stop the Islamic Republic of Iran from victimizing more generations, it is necessary that the international community suspends all relations with the Iranian government until they stop executions in Iran. Thank you very much.
خیلی متشکرم از آقای نیما پور یعقوب. سخنران بعدی ما خانم صبا